Audio Jungle.
JCF mourns death of cop who was involved in St. Anne crash. Members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force based in St. Anne are in mourning following the untimely death of their colleague. The deceased officer, Detective Corporal Garfield Ledford, passed away at the Kingston Public Hospital while undergoing treatment from injuries he sustained in a traffic collision. The incident occurred along the Longdover Main Road in St. Anne on January 27. Ledford was attached to the Runaway Bay police station in St. Anne at the time of his death. Stolen cars and parts recovered in St. Catherine, man arrested. The police in St. Catherine on Friday arrested a man after several car parts suspected to be stolen were found at his home in Kinland District. Earlier, cops on an operation in the area discovered 3 stolen vehicles and investigations led them to the man's premises. They reported that several car parts were found at the location. The cops also found 2 goats, which were seized after the man reportedly could not give a proper account for the livestock. The matter remains under investigation, and persons with information are being asked to come forward. Police seek man in attempted arson attack. The St. Mary police are seeking 2 men who attempted to set a house on fire in the community of Grand Spence, St. Mary on Friday, February 14. Reports are that around 5:30 a.m. the homeowner, a 34-year-old laborer, heard sounds coming from his kitchen. Upon investigating, he saw 2 men dressed in black with ski masks pouring a liquid substance inside the kitchen. Upon seeing the homeowner, they lit a piece of cloth, which started the fire. The homeowner quickly put out the fire with an extinguisher, and the men made good their escape. Reports are that the fire was a reprisal stemming from an ongoing issue with family members of the homeowner and persons from the community, where the matter is said to be before the court. Due to the incident, the St. Mary police imposed a 48-hour curfew, which started on Friday and will end today, in a bid to restore normalcy in the community. Dalrymple Philibert fined almost $1 million for breaching IC Act. Member of Parliament for South Trelawny, Marcia Dalrymple Philibert, has been fined $900,000 in relation to charges for omitting ownership of a motor vehicle in her statutory declaration. The charges were imposed by the Integrity Commission IC. Her attorney, Peter Champagny, told reporters that the matter was settled in the Corporate Era Court. This after the MP opted not to contest some of the 8 charges against her. Her lawyer pointed out that since the offences are non-recordable, Mrs. Dalrymple Philibert can continue her parliamentary duties without hindrance. The lawyer noted that the court highlighted an ambiguity with some provisions in the Integrity Commission Act relating to the discretion of the IC. This as there is no clear provision of the IC to have accepted Mrs. Dalrymple Philibert's declaration, particularly where she have corrected the record by declaring her ownership of the motor vehicle in question at the interview conducted by the Commission. This correction was made by Mrs. Dalrymple Philibert by way of the updated statutory declaration at the recommendation of the Commission and before any charges was brought against her. Her lawyer stated that the Integrity Commission need to be reviewed to allow parliamentarians and other public officials to make corrections to prior statutory declarations during an inquiry without the need of court proceedings.
I can confirm that the matter involving my client was settled today in the Corporate Area Parish Court. The essence of it was that the prosecution withdrew 2 of the charges. The other charges were in the nature of my client being admonished and discharged. And in relation to the remaining 3, a fine of total of $900,000 was imposed. It's important to emphasize that the charges, none of them, were recordable convictions, and therefore she's able to continue her parliamentary duties without any concern in that regard. And I also would like to emphasize that the result of this had followed a preliminary point that was taken in terms of the law, and certain issues were highlighted in terms of the act itself. And because of the ruling of the judge in the preliminary point, it really made no sense to prolong the matter. Suffice to say that I believe it's common ground that the legislation is drastically in need of reform, because there are a lot of areas in it in which there are ambiguities and some areas are not quite clear. Essentially, the idea behind the legislation is really one in relation to compliance in terms of administrative matters and disclosures being made whilst you're in public office. And there are some provisions that allow for, in the Act, that allows for a fine to be imposed if there's a breach, and in others, it allows for charges to be brought. But within the construct and confines of the legislation, there is supposed to be, and there is a commission, and the qualifications for the members of the commission are clearly set out. But as to what discretion that commission has, the Act is silent on that. And it is my view, and in fact, the parish judge did allude to that particular issue that I just mentioned. And it is my view that the legislation needs to be re-examined within that context to make sure that the provisions are unambiguous. The truth of the matter also is that we really don't have any case law to follow other than those coming from Trinidad, where there was a similar issue with their legislation. But suffice to say, the Act is in need of reform.
Manchester Fire Brigade reports that only 353 of 955 hydrants are working. Only 353 out of 955 fire hydrants in Manchester are in working condition. Head of the Manchester Fire Brigade Superintendent Juan Powell gave the update at Thursday's meeting of the Parish Municipal Corporation. He explained that a mapping of hydrants was done between last November and this month. Superintendent Powell also noted that assistance will be sought from the corporation regarding other hydrants, especially those that are enclosed on people's property.
Council should be happy to hear this one. Between November 24th and February 6th, we were able to successfully map all fire hydrants in the parish of Manchester. We recognize that of those mapped, we had 353 only that is working. How much is it? 955 hydrants. 353 that is in working condition. 335 that is in dire need of repair. 201 that are not working. That mean when are not working mean either water not being in the space or valve flange damaged, all of those things. There are 66 others, and these are our challenge areas that we will be seeking the assistance of the municipality to deal with. Persons are still enclosing hydrants onto their properties. Persons are still covering over hydrant pit valves on the boundaries of the roadway and their property. And those are some of the challenges we also will be writing to the NWA from our office, because there are some that they have covered over when they have done road repairs. And as such, most of them are in critical areas where if there is an emergency, it will hinder us from accessing these hydrants in order to effect firefighting capabilities.
Man charged for a gunpoint robbery at Nightclub in Newarton remanded. 23-year-old TJ Powell, who is charged for a gunpoint robbery of a patron at a nightclub in Newarton St. Catherine, was remanded in the parish court on Friday. Powell is charged with possession of a prohibited weapon, unauthorized possession of ammunition, using a firearm to commit a felony, unlawful wounding, malicious destruction of property, and robbery with aggravation. The case was transferred to the gun court for mention on March 7. Allegations are that on the night of February 2nd, the complainant was at the club in Newarton when he was held up at gunpoint and robbed of $15,000 by the accused, who used the weapon to hit the man in the face when he resisted. The matter was reported to the Newarton police station, and the accused was held at the scene of the robbery by the police. He was searched, and a pistol affixed with a magazine containing 7 rounds of 9mm cartridges was found in his possession. He was arrested and subsequently charged. The police said that Powell is wanted for a double murder in St. Mary. Remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.